and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of our official party. 25th Air Force Commander, Major General Mary O'Brien, President of Freedom Through Vigilance Association, Chief Master Sergeant Retired Ted Cahoon, and 25th Air Force Command Chief Stanley Cadell. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem. Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Chaplain Forsyth will now deliver the invocation.
Let us pray. God of grace and glory, the past years seem to have flown by as we've been striving towards our goals and aspirations. However, the great gap left by our friends and colleagues who have passed away has not gone unnoticed. These in whom we pray for are irreplaceable, and their memory is eternally valuable to each one of us. We thank you for the memory of shared experiences, as their impact has been felt in both our personal and professional lives. In times of mourning, we ask for your boundless.
Thank you, Chaplain Forsyth. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
And now Chief Master Sergeant Retired Cahoon will give his remarks, followed by the reading of names of our recent fallen Eagles by Senior Master Sergeant Retired Lee Anthony, and ceremonial wreath laying by Senior Airman Janaea Fulton.
Thank you, General O'Brien, not only for your message, but also for your vision and leadership of the 25th Air Force. The FTVA and the men and women of the 25th are truly fortunate to have your vast experience, leadership, and support. To our distinguished visitors, honored guests, Hall of Honor inductees, friends, and family members, welcome and thank you for taking time today to help us remember and salute our silent warrior heritage. Let me first especially thank Major Chris Bailey and the many 25th Air Force members who spent countless hours planning and coordinating not only this ceremony, but all the reunion events. I told Major Bailey that I don't know what he did to the General to deserve this task, but he followed through in great fashion and has been a real pleasure to work with. It is a thankless task, and I truly appreciate all the staff's efforts. This is indeed a significant year for 25th Air Force. 70 years of continued ISR excellence for our nation. As you heard from General O'Brien, those years did not pass without sacrifices. You will hear many names read today from Senior Master Sergeant Lee Anthony as we honor our fallen Eagles, but I wanted to highlight two individuals who passed more recently that we wished we had for one more day. Staff Sergeant Edison Alexander Herman was a cryptologic professional beloved by many in our community. A kind individual with a quick wit, he would give you the shirt off his back and then ask you how many more you needed. Between his many tours in Korea and Fort Meade, Eddie deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan on several occasions, where his infectious attitude continued to touch many individuals. He quickly became the rock people could rely on wherever he was. 10 years into his Air Force career, Eddie decided it was time to settle down. He joined the Army National Guard in Maryland as an engineer and completed training to respond during natural disasters. He worked to stabilize riots in Baltimore in 2015 and was on call during the Ellicott City flooding in 2016. Much as he did when he was an airman, Eddie took special pride in his job working search and rescue missions. He never wavered from his mission and rose to the occasion despite deadly circumstances. Eddie lived as a hero and died as a hero on 27 May 2018. Excuse me. His attempts to save a complete stranger during the Ellicott City flooding that day places him in a rare and elite company. Those who have died so that others may live. This past Sunday, we lost Senior Master Sergeant Christopher Lee Crawford. Chris was a cyber professional previously assigned to the 625th Operations Center Network Operations Division and recently transferred to 25th Air Force Inspector General Team. A consummate professional, he knew what it meant to serve. Chris grew up in the beach town of El Segundo, California, where he was a Boy Scout, Emergency Services Explorer Scout, and earned Eagle Scout as a junior at El Segundo High School. His desire to serve only grew as he joined the Air Force. While his passions were family time, surfing, and dirt bike riding, Senior Master Sergeant Crawford also believed the mentorship he provided to many of his fellow airmen was one of the most important services he could accomplish. He gave quiet counsel and career guidance to many of the men and women within 25th Air Force and leaves a hole that many of us are trying to fill today. Staff Sergeant Eddie Herman and Senior Master Sergeant Chris Crawford are just two in a long line of silent warriors we have lost over the past 70 years. We gather to read their names and honor their sacrifices to our service and country. This year, in honor of all our silent warriors, the City of San Antonio has issued a proclamation for 25th Air Force. It reads, Proclamation, whereas the 25th Air Force, celebrating 70 years of tradition, will host its annual Remembrance Ceremony on September 28, 2018, and this year's theme is 70 Years in the Fight. And whereas the mission of 25th Air Force is to execute worldwide intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance to protect and defend the United States in its global interest, and whereas headquartered at JBSA Lackland, Texas, the 25th Air Force was first activated in 1948 as the United States Air Force Security Service. It has been known by many names and has had a number of organizational realignments and redesignations throughout its 70-year history. And whereas over the years, the 25th Air Force has adapted to fulfill growing mission requirements, meet emerging threats, and maintain its motto, freedom through vigilance. And whereas attendees will have an opportunity to remember and honor their fallen loved ones and silent warriors, now, therefore, I, Ron Nurnberg, Mayor of the City of San Antonio, in recognition thereof, do proclaim September 28, 2018 to be 25th Air Force Remembrance Ceremony Day. Before we continue our tradition of reading the names by Lee Anthony of our friends and colleagues who have passed away during the previous 12 months, I'd like to close by reading a poem written by one of our own, Mr. Lonnie Henderson, in honor of our fallen eagles. We see the eagles fly, rising from the dust of a field in Armenia, from the icy waters of the Baltics, the Barents, the Bering Straits, and the seas around the world, rising from the tropical jungles in Southeast Asia, the deserts of the Middle East, the mountains of South America, and from all corners of our country. We see the eagles fly on an early December day, or July, maybe in April, or September. Clear, no clouds, or stormy with pouring rain. We see the eagles fly, effortlessly, riding the currents. Soaring above Ellicott City, Maryland, and San Antonio, Texas, majestic, supreme. We see the eagles fly, and those eagles look a lot like Staff Sergeant Eddie Herman, and Senior Master Sergeant Chris Crawford. Thank you.
Master Sergeant James Adkisson, Colonel Robert N. Andy Anderson, Master Sergeant Kenneth Balog, Senior Master Sergeant Charles Henry Bedell III, Chief Master Sergeant Edward L. Benningfield, Master Sergeant Timothy R. Bentz, Edwin Bohannon, Jr., Staff Sergeant Isaac Ike Borland, Master Sergeant John Charles Bouchard, Royal A. Brightville, Denver H. Sonny Burnett, Jr., Duarte Dumas Cabral, Robert E. Carey, Airman Second Class Frank J. Cassidy, Ray Childs, Major Gary Brian Christenot, John Big Jack Chulick, Master Sergeant Henry Skip Clinton IV, Master Sergeant Brian Conehead Cohenauer, Norman Willoughby Collins, Chief Master Sergeant Roy C. Coleman, Master Sergeant Martin Henry Connolly, Tech Sergeant Ben Cragen, Samuel M. Craver, Senior Master Sergeant Christopher Crawford, Master Sergeant Curtis E. Cross, Vladimir William Ladd Kulkowski, Airman Second Class James F. Cunningham, Ronald J. Coran, John J. Dankovich, Daniel L. Darkangelo, Senior Master Sergeant Bobby Darnell, Staff Sergeant Arnold D. Denver, Colonel Anthony J. DiBaggio, Staff Sergeant Denver Arnold Dover, Master Sergeant James E. Drake, John S. Dunlap, Chief Master Sergeant Benjamin B.D. Dunn, Joseph M. Durst, Terry A. Taco Duray, Master Sergeant Jerry Everett, Steve Fate, Tech Sergeant Wilson Fergie Ferguson, John Fitton, Senior Master Sergeant William A. Fitzhugh, Chief Master Sergeant Donald Ray Flegel, James F. Flynn, Master Sergeant Eugene Frazier, Robert Gallagher, Senior Master Sergeant Michael Dennis Gary, Master Sergeant Joseph E. Gilmore, Staff Sergeant Donald R. Goff, Chief Master Sergeant James L. Good, Chief Master Sergeant James M. Green, Colonel William W. D. Grimes, Charles W. Guthrie, Chief Master Sergeant Richard M. Perry Hain, Chief Master Sergeant John Patrick Halpin, Staff Sergeant Courtney Hamilton, Chief Master Sergeant Ronnie D. Hawkins, Master Sergeant Basil L. Henderson, Charlie Hensley, Staff Sergeant Orville L. Henson, Senior Master Sergeant Henry J. Hayen, Senior Master Sergeant John E. House, Donald D. Handsome Hull, Staff Sergeant Alan Irvin Johnson, Master Sergeant Delano Del Jolly, Arthur Butch Joseph, Senior Master Sergeant John E. Key, Master Sergeant Aubrey Keeter, Staff Sergeant Jerome W. Ketterhagen, Larry Knipschild, Harry L. Kozel, Eric Koo, Colonel David T. Kuntz, Melvin Jackson Livings, Joseph C. London, Lieutenant Colonel Charles T. Lucas, Master Sergeant Michael Macias, William R. Martins, Master Sergeant Darius McDonald, Harry Joseph McClinigan, Frank P. Merriman, Master Sergeant Henry Miller. Senior Executive Service Randolph A. Miller. John Neil Minicino. Colonel Alan Montesino. John Earl Moore. Willis Francis Paco Moore. William Franklin Bill Murphy. Gail L. Nelson. Master Sergeant Myron C. Nelson. Tech Sergeant David S. Newhall. Colonel John Nikolauk. Lieutenant Colonel Ray Vincent Ondrashik. Jimmy R. Patillo. Chief Master Sergeant Norman E. Payne. Senior Master Sergeant Ted A. Tap Peterson. Tech Sergeant Albert Hugh Perkle. Bobby Wayne Posey. Master Sergeant Russell E. Puckett. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Joseph Quinn. Chief Warrant Officer Earl W. Ray. Master Sergeant Joel D. Robbins. Lieutenant Colonel John Robinson. Albert S. Rosie Rosenberger. Leon John Lee Schultz. Senior Airman Brian Lee Schwartz. Vern Dale Scott. Carol H. Shackelford. Major Edward Ellis Shackelford. Airman First Class Charles Sheehan. Senior Master Sergeant Guy A. Sheriff Sherburne. Airman First Class John B. Sims. Sergeant Brad R. Smith. Senior Master Sergeant Roger D. Smith. Anthony Soda. Vernon C. Speedy Spalding. Senior Master Sergeant Donald G. Spears. Chief Master Sergeant Donald Sam Stewart. Clyde W. Stouffer. L. Keith Stooksbury. Senior Master Sergeant Denny Suchsdorf. Dennis John Sundin. Colonel Stephen Warren Sutton. Dr. Robert C. Pop Tart Jr. Adrian E. Buddy Taylor. Lieutenant Colonel Edwin Wynn Taylor. Chief Master Sergeant Myler F. Taylor. Staff Sergeant Jerry J. Theriot. Robert Herbert Thornton. Chief Master Sergeant Herman W.B. Tenirella. Staff Sergeant Clarence L. Tucker. Major Otis Cliff Turner. James Hobart Vanover. Leonard J. Wade. Master Sergeant Leon Walls. Master Sergeant Bruce D. Weddle. Master Sergeant Ernest L. Whitfield. Major K. Woods. Ronald E. Woods. Are there others?
Bill Locke. Ben Pennell.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation in honoring our fallen Eagles. Now we ask everyone to please rise for the playing of Taps and Amazing Grace, followed by a C5 flyover, and ending with a moment of silence. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today's ceremony. As a reminder, we invite everyone to join us for the annual picnic at Stapleton Park beginning at 11:30. Thank you, and have a great day.